Yo, what's up guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Ntui, and on this channel I make sewing tutorials. I post new videos every Wednesdays and on Saturdays. So if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Bye. Oh, hold on, I forgot one more thing. I have an online course that's going to begin on the last Friday of this month. So if you guys are interested, this is the timetable that we'll be working with. If you're interested, please call the number that you can see at the bottom of the screen. This program is going to help you guys work on your sewing. You're going to start sewing so neatly that if you make a mistake and you wear what's your dress inside out and you go out, you're getting compliments, and at the end of the day you find out that you wore your dress the wrong way. So please, if you're interested, contact the phone number and we'll see you in the next video. Bye. You're welcome. So in this video I'm going to show you how to make a side pocket. Now as you can see, I have already drafted my pattern. In case you don't know how to draft a trouser pattern, I have videos on that, and if you click on the link that you can see right now, it's going to direct you to how to draft a trouser, both for men. I have a video for men and a video for women, so make sure that you do that before you get to this point. Now when you want to install the side pockets, the first thing that you're going to do is of course draft your trouser. Then the next thing you're going to do is to get your cotton lining or the fabric that you intend to use for the pockets, okay? Because as you can see in this example that we have here, if you see this trouser that we have here, you will see that the fabric that you have on the inside the trouser, as you can see here, is different from what you see on the outside, okay? So in case you want to use a cotton fabric, one that is patterned, printed, plain, whatever you want to use inside, but make sure you have a cotton fabric and that you use for the pockets on the inside. So I'm going to show you how to do what you can see here exactly. The outside will look like this, but the inside will look like this, okay? So for that look, I'm going to use this fabric that I have right here. All right, so now it's time to cut the pockets. The first thing you're going to do is, as you can see, I have kept my fabric on a fold. All right, I've kept my fabric on a fold. Now the part I intend to use on for the outside is the part that you can see right here. All right, this is the part that I want to show outside, so I'm going to have to reverse this. Okay, I'm going to reverse this and keep it like so. All right, now if you notice, I'm keeping it on a fold. I'm keeping it on a fold because the pocket has to be kept on a fold, and you are going to place this pattern. Now you see this right here, right? You see this part here. From what we can see, this is the side of the trouser. This is the crotch area that we have right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to reverse it. Okay, make sure that the part of your fabric that's on a fold, that's this edge here where the fold is. Okay, this is the side that is open, this is the side that has the fold. What you're going to do is you're going to place your trouser facing this other part. All right, you see that? You've seen that this is the part, this is our crotch area, and it's facing the outside. So that's what you're going to do first and foremost. You're going to make sure that the trouser is facing the right direction. All right, so now when you fold it, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to need to know how deep you want the pocket to be. All right, so 12 inches is always a safe depth to have for most adults. So what we're going to do is, as you can see from the edge here, look at where I'm placing my 12. I'm going to make a mark. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to make a mark at around 12 inches. All right, I'm going to come up here, make a mark at 12 inches. Okay, I hope the camera can pick that up. So you're going to make a mark around 12 inches there. Now the next thing you're going to do is now I know you have been asking yourself, how deep in should the pocket be, because this is our crotch area. So at what point do you start your pockets? Okay, this is the best way to do it. From the tip that you have here, you see this tip that you have here, from this edge, you're going to come to where 2 inches is, meaning you're going to come like this. You see where 2 inches is, you're going to push 2 inches to that point. So this edge that you have here, the folded edge, should sit just at 2 inches. Okay, and then that means here to here 2 inches, that's where it starts from. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to measure from here down and make sure that it is 12, and that's what I have here. Okay, when you're done with that, the next step would be to cut out the pattern. Okay, so you're going to come like so, making a little. You're going to cut this side to be exactly the same thing with the light pink pattern that we have on top. All right, We're going to make sure that's exactly the same thing. So that's what I'm doing. Make sure you cut all the sides exactly the same. So I have the slant at the top, it's exactly the same. This side too is exactly the same. All right, now that is out of the way, the next thing you're going to need is a hardener. As you guys know, I like using a lot of stabilizers and hardeners because it helps keep my fabric in place. Okay, so you're going to get your hardener. In case you're wondering, this is gum stay. In Nigeria it's called gum stay. It's very, very paperish, and it has an adhesive on one side, but it feels like paper, and it has adhesive on one side. All right, so now when you're done with that, for the size of the paper, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you have paper that is at least 3 inches wide. When you're cutting it out, 3 inches wide, and you're going to want to cut it by 8 inches. So that's what I have done. All right, from here to here is 3 inches, from here to here is 8 inches, and it's a rectangle, meaning here and here is 8, here and here is 8, here to here is 3 on both sides. When you're done with that, you're going to take your trouser. All right, so there's the front of the trouser and the back of the trouser. So you come to the wrong side. I've made my marking on the wrong side. As you can see, this is the side that will be facing your body, this is the side that will be facing everybody else. This is part of the trouser that will be outside. You're going to take your gum stay, you're going to place it on your fabric like so. See what I'm doing? You're going to iron it on. So as you can see, that's what we have, and this is the parts, this is the pockets. Okay, so we're going to turn it to the side that's going to face. This is the part that we want to be inside. This is how everything is going to look at the end of the day. So let's keep this guy aside and focus on this. When we're done with ironing, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to come from the edge of the fabric. So once again, this is the crotch area. Okay, you're going to come to the other side. You're going to measure out 2 inches. As you can see, from the edge here, I'm keeping 2 inches from the edge here. I'm coming to the front. You're going to make a little notch in your fabric at 1/2 inch. Okay, as you can see, I didn't go slicing a very, very big chunk of my fabric out. Okay, as you can see there, we have a very, very little, there's a very, very little point there where I notched. Okay, so back to this. All right, you make a notch there at 2 inches. So from this point here, you're going to come down by 7 inches. All right, so from here you're going to come down 7 inches, and you're going to make a little mark just like we did the first time. You're going to make a mark there. Now when you're done with that, you're going to turn your fabric back to the parts where we have our interfacing. All right, and then we're going to fold it in like so. See what I'm doing now? Please, I forgot to mention, I've not done any weaving, or I've not used a lock stitch machine around the edges, but you should do that, please. I forgot to mention, but I don't have access to all my machines, as you guys know, because I'm in isolation. But what you should do is, before you start ironing anything I have done, make sure that you weave all the sides of your trouser just like you would do normally. Make sure that you weave before you start doing whatever I am doing here, so that it comes out very, very neatly. I don't have access to my weaving machine, but make sure that you finish all your edges with a sega or a weaving machine. So as you can see, we already have the shape that those side pockets used to have. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up this guy. Now just like in the beginning of the video, I showed you guys the trouser, what we're trying to achieve, and you guys saw that in the inside you have the printed fabric showing, but on the outside there's a plain part. Now how that's achieved is that they add the plain fabric to the printed one, and this way I will show you how to sew it so that it turns out so that the plain part shows on the outside at the end of the day. So I'm going to get a piece of the printed fabric, and I'm going to come back. Alright, so this is the fabric that I'm going to use. Now back to this one more time. Now remember, we said that we want the printed fabric to show like this on the inside of our trouser. So what we're going to do first of all is I have ironed it. Okay, I have ironed it first facing that side. Okay, and at the end of the day, when it's time to install the plain part that will show on the outside, what you want to do is you iron it the way it's going to sit at the end of the day. Okay, this is the trouser. Remember, the side with the lines is the wrong side. This side here is the correct side. What we're going to do is you're going to place these two like so. They're going to lift. Let me do it facing you guys so you guys can see it clearly. We have the trouser, the side like this. This part here is going to go with this side. This is the part that's going to show at the end of the day, and this is the part that you want to cover with your fabric, so that at the end of the day it looks like this. You see that? So what we're going to do is we're going to cover this entire portion here with the plain fabric. So now how to do that is you're going to come from here to here, make a mark at 4 inches. Okay, just make a mark here at 4 inches. You're going to come here, make a mark at 4 inches. Remember to use chalk, tailor's chalk on yours. Don't use markers. This is just for educational purposes, but when you're actually sewing for your clients, remember to use tailor's chalk. Do not use a marker, because if the permanent marker is not going anywhere, it's going to ruin your work. Anyway, what we're going to do is you're going to keep the fabric like this. Okay, we're going to sew from here all the way down, and we're going to turn it like this. Okay, so let's go to the machine. Let me show you how it goes. So as you can see, this is the part of the fabric that we want to have on the outside. What you're going to do is you're going to take this fabric and place it on top like this. You see this is a line that we want to stitch on. Okay, so we're going to place this one exactly like so. Make sure that our needle lands on that line, and we're going to sew from top to bottom. Okay, so this is what we are left with at the end of the day. So as you guys can see, this is the part I just stitched. This is what we have. This is where our line was. Okay, so when you're done with that, we're going to iron this place flat. We're going to press it down all the way from top to bottom. Make sure that it stays flat. Going to turn to the other part. Okay, and we're going to iron it again. When we're done with ironing, we're going to chop this part off like so. We're going to chop here off like so. Okay, so this is what we're left with at the end of the day. This is what we're left with. This is the top part. This is how everything looks at this point. Now when you've added this part on, you would notice on the inside of the trouser that there's a little curve. Now this is the part that has the pockets. This is the edge where the pocket is. You notice that there's a little curve at this point here. Okay, so we're going to need to curve this edge of our pocket. You see this edge here, down here. We're going to need to make a curve at the bottom here, where we have this angle. Okay, so that's the next step. Now we're going to curve this part just a little bit like so before we start to fix the pockets. Now it's time to stitch everything together. All right, so now the first step, when you're done with cutting around, please do not forget, after you've added this part of your fabric, it's at this point that you will now use your sega to finish the edges of the pockets. All right, please remember, always use your sega, your weaving machine, to lock around here. Okay, please remember to always lock around here. Use your sega to weave it before you proceed to the next step if you want to get the neatest results. Now when you're done with that, you're going to lay it flat like so. See the way I've placed it exactly like so. This is the part I want to face the outside at the end of the day. All right, that's the part I want to be outside. So this is what I'm going to do. See this place that we ironed like this. See this place that we ironed like this. I'm going to open it up. You see this? I'm going to place it with this, and I'm going to sew. Okay, so let's go to the machine so I can show you guys how to sew. Remember, this is the part that we stitched before. This is the opposite side. This is how the outside will be at the end of the day. We're opening the part that we ironed the other time, and we're placing it on top of this like so. Now, so as you guys can see, this is the line where we ironed before. This is the line that we pressed to become flat. This is where we notched at the top. This is where we notched at the side. This is the pockets that we have at the bottom. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take this part like so. We're going to come to the machine, and now when we are stitching, we're not going to run our line on top of this line that we ironed. We're going to come to ½ inch away from the line. So like this is the line we had, we're going to come to ½ inch after the line. We're going to run a parallel line from top all the way to where we have this notch down here. So we're coming from here all the way down, a parallel line. We're not running on the same line. Watch what I'm saying. Watch and see what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm talking about. As you can see, this is the line that we ironed, this is the line I have stitched. When you are done with that, as you can see, we ran the stitch all the way down to the bottom, to this point here. We did not climb where we notched. You see that? We didn't climb where we notched. We stopped right before we got to that point. Now when you get to that point, what you want to do is you're going to take your scissors and you're going to make an incision. So now I'm also going to notch the part that will become my pockets at the end of the day. So I'm just notching. Notice I'm not notching deeper than this was before. I'm simply just notching to stop where the first notch stopped. So as you can see, I have cut the part of my pocket that will become my lining. So now on to the next step. For the next step, I'm going to flatten the pockets like this. You see what I'm doing? I'm going to flatten the pockets like this. Lay it very, very flat, like so. Flatten the pocket. See what I did? I simply just opened up the pocket. It was like so. When you stitch here, I simply just took the bottom part that was like so and pulled it open. Okay, make sure you lay it very, very flat. See what's happening on the inside. Make sure you lay it very, very flat. Okay, and then we're going to stitch here. You see this part here? We're going to stitch here from top to bottom, but watch where I would stop. So as you can see, I've run another line from up here. I ran it all the way. Look at where the first line stopped here. Look at where this one is stopping. I stopped ½ inch before I got to the original line that I had. So I sewed on the edge and I stopped at ½ inch before I got to the first seam that I stitched. Okay, so now I'm going to take you guys to the next step. All right, so for the next step, watch what I'm doing with my hands. I'm picking up this part, the top part that I have here and the bottom part that I have here. I'm going to pick it up like so. See what I'm doing? I'm going to pick it up like so, flip all the rough work under. You see this? Lay everything flat. See what's happening underneath? I pushed everything else. Remember, I told you guys to use your Sega or your weaving machine to weave the edges. If you had done that before you started doing this, all these edges here would have been woven and you won't have any rough work. So when you have flipped all the rough work to the other side, this is the part that we have here. It's at this point that we now stitch to get that look, to get that seam that you always see in front. Make sure that you lay everything underneath perfectly. So when you are stitching, let me zoom in a bit. When you are stitching, right, this is what you want to do. When you get close to this point, you will see that there's the first part here, the fabric part that was notched, and the pocket that was notched. You want to move the pocket out of the way of your stitch. All right, so you don't want to climb on top of the pocket when you stitch. So watch and see what I'm doing. I'm going to consciously try to move away that part that I notched from the way before I finish this off. Leave your needle inside, turn the fabric around and lock it like so. Okay, so you can see what we have. We have a stitch running from top all the way out. This is what the bottom part looks like. You can see that I did not hold my pockets here. See this part that I notched in my pocket is still hanging loose, is still free. You see that? See this part? This is the part that I notched in the fabric. This is the part that I notched in the pocket. You can see that they are still separate. They are not binded together. And then I have my seam running from the top all the way down to the bottom. All right, and I've made the little L at that point. So back to the ironing board. So as you guys can see, I have stitched this edge. This is the part I just stitched. This is what the inside looks like. All right, now what you're going to do is you're going to flip this over, and please don't forget, when you first bring it back from your machine, make sure you press it down on both sides so that everything lays flat. So that's what I was telling you guys. And if I zoom in here, if I zoom into this point, you will see that we still have the part of our pockets that we stitched. So you can see it's right there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, you see this part here, this part of the pocket, you're going to fold it over to this side. All right, we're going to fold it back to this side. If I turn it over to this side, to the front, you would see that what we're trying to achieve has already started to happen. You can see that we have the fabric at this point. We have the fabric showing when we turn it. All right, so to continue, we're going to fold this one to sit like so, to sit perfectly, and then we're going to press and iron it flat, making sure that all sides are the same. So when you are done with that, this is the next step. You see this part here that we notched, see this part here that we notched, this part here we notched. We're going to come to, see where this black thread, where my black thread stops. Okay, we're going to come to that point. We're going to make a notch on this side. You see this place that we stitched on the fabric onto, that's what we're going to make a notch there, 1/2 inch. Okay, remember where the black stitch stopped. When I balanced everything out, as where this black inch, where this black thread is, this black thread, that's where I made the notch on part of the fabric that we covered with the plain part. So please watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay it flat. I'm going to lay it flat. Sorry, let me balance everything out. So we lay it flat. We're going to come to this point. You see this? Here was like this. We flip it over to this other side. We come to this point here. All right. We're going to pick it up like so. I'm going to turn the entire fabric to where this place is. You see this? I'm going to turn the fabric to where that point is. You see what I'm doing? The first notch, remember that notch that we had that was hanging out, the one that we didn't stitch when we were stitching the black. You're going to make it balance with this new notch I just made. Remember the part of the fabric we stitched on the pink too, the pink plain one too. We're going to stitch, make sure that they align like so, and we're going to sew from here around to this point. Okay, so remember, see this point, this is the point that I notched on both sides. You're going to place it to be at exactly the same points. Okay, then you're going to come and you're going to sew from that point and going to go around. Watch and see. As you can see, look at where I started my stitching from. I started from after that notch and I went around all the way to this other point. Okay, so when you're done with that, you're going to do this. I'm going to put your hand into the pockets like so. Okay, so what I'm doing, coming from the part that is open, and I'm putting my hand into the pockets. I'm going to move all the rough work outside. See that? I'm pulling everything out. And if I lay this flat, you will notice that we are very close to the end, because at this point we can already see the pockets. All right, you see this? We have the pockets already. Okay, just a few last touches. If I turn it to the front part, you'll see that here we have the pink. On the inside we have the patterned part showing. Now what you want to do is you're going to use your tape, measure from here to where 2 inches is, and you're going to come, you see this place, you're going to come from this edge here, look for where 2 inches is, place this part, this front part here, place it on top, and you're going to stitch from the top to the bottom at 1/2 inch, securing them together. All right, and that's what I have done. Okay, just one last thing and we'll be done. So when you're done with notching the top parts, as I did in the last scene, what you're going to do is you're going to take it to the table, your pressing table, and you're going to lay it flat, iron it. I have done that. I've done that already. As you can see, it's a lot flatter than the way it was the previous time. I simply just pressed it flat, make sure that everything was nice and smooth. Now for the very last step, what we're going to do is we're going to stitch from, you see this point here, we're going to stitch from here and we're going to go around. You see this? I'm going to come from here, stitch, and then go around. So watch and see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm picking up this part, laying it in the machine like so, and I'm going to go around. When I get to that point where there was a notch, I'm going to stop, turn it, and come out. Alright, but as you can see, we have achieved that. Alright, so back to the ironing table. So we are officially done with the trouser, with the pocket. As you can see the inside of the pocket, very neat, very smooth, very neat, very smooth. Okay, let's go. Cut this part off. Cut that part off. Not your own. I will not notch my own. If you like, leave it like that. You tell your clients how much it will cost you to cut that little piece off. And this is what the outside looks like. Now the gum stay, the reason why we used gum stay initially was to make sure that this part here is defined and, you know, has a very nice width to it. That's why we use the gum stay there. It gives it more form around that part. But that is it. That's how to easily make your pocket as neat as it can be. This as neat as it gets. It doesn't get any better than this. Does it get any better than this? Comment down below. Does it get any better than this?